UG. Both games the team look much better, but can they continue that form here in Vici? What do they got for us here? Because Dandy's top lane, it was not bad at all in the series we first saw him.
And Dandy has been taking the teleport smite pretty much every single time, and I said it before when I cast him yesterday, it's like he's playing two roles. Not that World 6 didn't look fantastic on the Gragas, but Dandy has been there consistently with the smite, and you are correct. He's a very mechanically skilled player, so he looks good into the top lane. The thing about Vici Gaming is they have, again, one style. It's a very rotation-esque style. They don't thrive in the 5v5 team fight or even in the skirmishes. So they win the game that they play the rotation, and then it's almost like immediately in the second game they decide to play a 5v5 composition and everything falls apart.
Yeah, it seems like King probably play the opposite, much more like a classic Chinese team. So could be fun here in this series. We'll start with our game one draft. Vici versus King. Vici on the blue side for game number one. King over on the red. Alistar, Rek'Sai the first two bans for Vici, and Kalista is the first ban away from King.
Not surprised to see that, although I'm a little bit shocked to see Rek'Sai banned away from blue side, so maybe World 6 again prioritizing that Gragas. We haven't seen him on a large champion pool. We've only seen him on Sejuani and Gragas. Like I said, Gragas was amazing. Sejuani, not so much.
Yeah, Gragas and Rek'Sai, just two great strong pressure junglers, and I love this ban a lot from King. The Sivir pick away there from Nami. Nami not really a Sivir player, so he says, you know what, let's fight each other man to man.
No, I completely agree. I love that teams are starting to ban Sivir away from these LPL teams just because she has an absurd win record, an absurd play record, and you are absolutely correct. Nami plays Jinx.
Yeah, fires back there as Vici said, okay, you're going to ban 1 AD, we'll ban your AD, Nami, and going to take that Jinx away. So that matchup gets taken off the board for now as King consider their final ban.
Lucian's going to be the big priority pick here. Kalista, Sivir, and Jinx all taken away. That pretty much leaves Lucian and Corki. We have seen Uzi start to shift over into the Corki train.
Yeah, but it's a different thing. That's, playing more as a team, playing to rotate more, a bit more like EDG we're doing at the start of spring this year. So Gragas actually the final ban for King. Love that ban here as well. And all of a sudden, we have a very open format as Vici look for their first pick here.
The Fizz is still available, as is the Hecarim, and Dandy has shown both. So
both in the jungle and in the top lane, actually, at least in his career. So I like them both for him. I actually think, honestly, if I'm going to take a pick of those two, I think I actually prefer Fizz.
Fizz has been doing really well. Dandy did show the Cinderhulk build versus the Flandre Eternity Force build, and we've talked about this multiple times. It's the fact that you're building the CDR that the Bomby Cinder is going to continue to burn while you're in the air, but we talked about also how Lucian was the big priority now that so many AD carries have been taken off the board, and that's what they prioritize. Smart
pick away there for Vici as well, but these are great picks for King. We talked about top laners. King just taking them both. Korn's a big Fizz player. Insect certainly loves his Hecarim. Hecarim Fizz are their first two picks.
That means, though, that the Rumble is still available. Your dream can still come true, Pete.
The Dandy Rumble. It could potentially be here as junglers as well been taken away. Two of them, in fact, were banned out here in this draft, so World 6 going to flash Nunu at least for now. Huey certainly look better on the more aggressive style champion, so more Gragas Rek'Sai, less of the Sejuani, so I think you might prefer Nunu as a pick, but we'll see what Vici want to take away for themselves here. They can kind of do whatever they want with the first pick Lucian.
My question, though, is that since they prioritized, or King went for the over-denial, taking both Hecarim and Fizz away from Dandy, that it then leaves the immediate second rotation for Vici to pick up Nautilus. So again, Alistar's banned, Nautilus is the next go-to. Zero has performed really well on Thresh, but you're giving Nautilus to Mata.
Yeah, I mean, Mata's just an incredible playmaker, and along with the Sejuani, good engage there for the Vici side, so strong three picks there to kick things off. King, though, considering their next USO Nami, having a bit of fun flashing the Ashe there, proper for some fans as well. Nunu's interesting in this comp because we normally see it paired with that Jinx, of course, but not an option here for King. Might be lining up for a hyper carry late here for Nami, and if they're going to sit with these picks, that would be my guess here. Nunu, Thresh seem to be the picks away for King, so that immediately screams to me that, hey, I want to play Cog more.
Last pick, AD carry to Nami.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about teams on the red side giving their strongest players the counter pick. Nami, arguably one of their strongest players, they're going to give him last pick AD carry.
Now, Korn is very well known for his Fizz. In 2014, when he was really picked up for Starhome World Club, it was almost consistently banned away from him. And as I say that, it's really unfortunate because every single time we've seen his Fizz on the international stage, both at Worlds and then also in recent LPL seasons, it's been fairly lackluster. So going back to it again, especially because it is very flavor of the month, it acts as a double denial against Dandy in that top lane who showed it. See if Korn can finally make it connect, because right now Ryze has really only been the backbone for him.
You can see here Tong going to take the skill matchup here, but it's not slightly unfavored, honestly, for Cassiopeia. That's the pick, though. Again, what looks like the Fizz that should be coming through to the mid lane. Now, though, for Dandy, actually not going to be a smite top laner, interestingly enough, so we'll deny the option away from himself. But King, we talked about it. They've lined up all their eggs in the basket here for Name's AD carry. He flashes it, but we'll see if King want to lock it in.
We can quickly touch about Dandy, though, because it is important the fact that he isn't taking that smite. We said it before here. He's kind of been playing two different roles, both jungle and top laner from the top lane position. This time around, World 6, again, taking that Sejuani, had a lackluster showing on it previously, so round 2, but Gnar into Hecarim, pretty favorable matchup to Gnar, especially if he chooses to itemize the Frozen Mallet.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. I like the top lane matchup for Vici, but maybe not so much in the mid lane matchup. So has some give and take there for Vici with their last few picks, but Name does take away the Kog'Maw. It's almost like I've seen him play before, but that Nunu pick really telegraphed what they were doing. So I think Vici must have known that coming into the final stages of that draft. And as it turns out, I like both the team comps here. Are going to bash through the lineups. Dandy versus Insect. What a matchup here. Gnar versus Hecarim.
Did you ever think that we'd come to this point where it's Dandy versus Insect in the top lane?
No, I did not. But World 6, the sub-jungler on Sedge versus Huey's Noon. It'll be interesting to see how Huey's able to play. People are a passive champion. Her Tong here. If Korn can perform in this Fizz, Hatong's life is going to be miserable.
Also very important to point out that Hatong did amazing on Cassie yesterday, 10-1 and 10.
He's looked quite good on the Shuma champions, actually, with the Azir in there as well. Lucian versus Kog'Maw, as we just zip by them, and Mata versus Zero, two very flashy Korean support players. Could be some fireworks there in the bottom lane.
I'm super excited if this turns out to be a 2v2. That said, it's a Lucian Nautilus, possibly the strongest 2v2 lane. Against Little Thresh Kog'Maw, I expect that King will look for a lane swap.
Yeah, I mean, Name does need to get going on the Kog'Maw, get his farm going, but again, we talk about 2014 players. There's a lot of them on both these lineups. It was one of Name's strongest picks back then. We'll see if he can do it here.
And we can really start talking about what these team comps want to do. Specifically, I want to talk to King because I think it's the less obvious one. So it's effectively a protect the ADC composition. You have the Lantern displacement for Name as well as the Nunu.
Yep, we'll find a little more in a second as they're going to jump straight onto the Rift. And welcome back for our second match of the evening. Vici versus King take to the Rift for their first game here. And it's comfort picks across the board, honestly, for a lot of these players. As Korn's back on Fizz, Name's back on Kog'Maw, and Insect's in the top lane.
And Insect's in the top lane. Cute. You know, and that's the thing that I really wanted to talk about is King are pulling a little bit of a cheeky level 1 here.
They are actually forcing a flash. Yeah, value there coming through. Dandy actually not going to have his summoner. We can see the vision going to come down.
I love with kind of protect the ADC comp so that this isn't as hard as it could be. It's not like it's a Lulu in the top lane, that people are taking assassins into the mid lane as opposed to Orianna, just because it then allows all of the peel to be used for this Kog'Maw, to be used for Name, because Fizz is so self-sufficient.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of give your team an additional diver here. One of the best ways to set up for a hyper carry is just like basically lock up the enemy either by diving them or using something like a Hecarim ulti. We used to see a long time ago when a Mumu was a very popular jungler. You take your hyper carries in there. Think of Vayne, think of Kog'Maw back in the day. You lock them up and it doesn't matter. You don't need protection because the enemy team can't do anything while you just shoot them.
Cloud Templar stopped what he was doing somewhere and he's like, someone has called me.
As King going to rotate back into their own jungle. Might be looking for that lane swap that you mentioned, but we'll start with the expected mid lane matchup. And this is the skill of skill matchups as far as current flavor of the month goes.
I do want to kind of talk about this 2v2 because Name and Zero are moving to the bottom side to avoid that. So what they did is King invaded. They set down their lane swap wards, making sure that they got a ward behind the tower so they could see who's coming up there. Now, Vici tried to match that, but Name and Zero lose a little bit of CS and creep control time, but making sure that they're not facing against Lucian Nautilus.
And the other nice thing, and this is actually kind of what the Sivverman sets up, the one thing you don't want to have happen is get horrifically fast pushed in when you want to freeze lane and get farm. Lucian Nautilus is still quite good at pushing, so it's not the best news for King, but they probably buy as much time as possible in this situation by banning away Sivver.
And people don't necessarily think, again, of Lucian as like a sieging champion, but he's actually quite good at burning through towers because, again, being able to proc that passive on the double tap and just slowly chip away at them.
Yeah, and Nautilus didn't used to be, but that change to Riptide means that he just spams it on cooldown in a 2v0, and then Meaning Waves melt here. So you see Korn doing a nice job, actually skilled up the E first here, so again, really has to outplay Atong, but you'll see Fizz, especially once he hits level 6, if Atong makes one wrong move, he will get melted by Fizz.
And this is kind of the rise of Fizz. People are always asking, you know, what's happening with the Cinderhulk? Obviously, this is a mid lane Fizz, but in a meta where it's so stacked with so many tanks, Cinderhulk, and so much peel available to these AD carries, Fizz is so sticky. It's impossible to get him off of that back line.
Yeah, I think about him a lot like sort of old Kassadin is, but he just peaks a little bit earlier, has a bit of a smoother item build path, because you said it. He's sticky. You don't get him off your carries. As Dandy gets hooked here by Zero. Name's going to go aggressive. Huey coming in as well. Zero's going to get off the turret. Dandy's dead there as Thresh gets executed, but the first blood's going to go to Huey.
And the execution, and Nami, of course, burning his flash, so he isn't going to fall to the tower and trade the kill. But meanwhile, because of that, Hatong gets to go aggressive in the mid lane, knowing that resources are expended in the bottom side.
You can see Flash Child is being consumed there by Korn. That's the other part of the matchup. When you don't have your pole up and you eat poison, Cassiopeia almost always going to win some trades. Insec might be in trouble here.
A little bit scarier to dive, especially because Zero is making the call back and rotating towards the top side. That said, he's now going towards
somewhere.
Mid lane. I think he's going to ward.
He's on an adventure. Yeah, March actually warding as well. It's funny to see both these supports sort of mimicking each other as far as early rotations go. Korn again eats a bit of poison, but respects the ranges. Huey just trying to keep track of something. Hatong seems to be a target for this mid lane. Thresh not quite able to land a hook. He's trying. Zero, level 2. He's roamed very early on here.
Well, they're very dependent on Zero to get involved if they were going to set up for a gank here, simply because the flash snowball really isn't going to make the difference there.
No, Kakao tried that one a couple of weeks ago. Not what you actually against Vici, hilariously enough. Not what you want there as far as aggressive junglers go, but everyone's going to back off. Korn will respect the damage from Hatong, and Cassiopeia comes out to a decent early lead. But don't be fooled, this matchup will eventually turn itself back around.
It's pretty cute that Zero, I like to call it the Mata. So Mata made it or popularized the fact that you get 800 gold early as the support, and you transition it not into a Sightstone, but into Mobies and a couple of wards. Zero picking up the first boots, had a green ward, and using his extra mobility to try to set up that gank.
That was a sick hook, though. Mata going to get flayed back into the tower after the death sentence. Dandy going to try and make it happen. Good damage actually out onto Name, but Minina will end. Meganar will begin, and Name going to dodge that with a very nice play from Zero.
Max range, dredge line. That was pretty sick.
I mean, again, Mata versus Zero. You want to talk about Korean playmaking supports? These are arguably two of the best.
If only PYL was in this game, we would have the 3 top supports.
I don't quite know how that works. I don't know what...
I just want like 10 supports in a game.
Oh no, the support all-star game. That would be amusing, to say the least, as Hatong continues to push Korn in. Fizz, again, has to just pick his spots carefully and try and farm safely, but Flask keeping him healthy. CS not very healthy, unfortunately. Nice placement of that poison there by Hatong. And Korn, again, just kind of has to grit it bare for a little while longer.
And Hatong's able to play this far forward and to be this aggressive because he's facing a Nunu. Nunu's not known for his gank, so there's not a lot of jungle pressure. It's not like a Rek'Sai, which would have that threat. So he's able to consistently keep Korn pushed in and deny him that CS, as we're seeing a pretty big discrepancy, 42 to 27.
Yeah, Korn is behind there in the matchup, and Dandy and Mata, pretty funny Korean duo lane here, but making it work reasonably well. In fact, Name behind Endless on farm here as well. Hook lands, though, onto Mata this time. That's Zero landing that one in. But Name, again, a little bit behind, about 20 CS behind Lucian. And the kind of quickly put together duo lane here for Vici. Doing a good job of trying to annoy this AD carry, because Endless, he is a free matchup 1v1 in the top side.
Here comes Huey.
Gonna try and make the gank happen. Insect, no ulti. Endless level 6. Gonna maybe keep himself safe, but the snowball's gonna keep coming through. Insect with good damage. Actually turns around and culling there. Well, Endless just to peel them off. So no ultis mean no death, but even holding onto his flash. Lucian actually really finding that exchange.
And likewise in CS as well, Endless has 51, about 10 CS over Name right now. And it's the nice thing about Gnar when he is in a 2v2 situation like that, the fact that he acts very much like an ADC, because with mini Gnar you do have the boomerang as well as the range threat. Yeah,
just so annoying here. And again, kind of a weird bottom lane, but doing just fine here for Vici as they cobble it together. Name going to get a little bit more free time and take some CS, but you can see Lucian, BF sword already done, rotating immediately back to the bottom lane. There's Korn there as well, just kind of hanging out on the Fizz. Has his ulti ready to go, so can start to maybe outplay Hatong, but again, Huey, not the same amount of pressure, pulling Zero actually as well, as Danny and Insec have a bit of a battle.
The CDR is going to be big for Korn, though, able for him to spend more time airborne to farm safely. Safely.
As Danny and Insec again kind of going at it, but Mini now real good against his hack room as Insec going to try and punish Dandy, but every time he goes in for a trade, the boomerangs and the autos do too much work. Is in the mid lane, Hatong in trouble. Level 7, hasn't used his ulti, won't quite use it in time, and the kill will go to Zero.
And again, the fact that Zero's continually roaming and being part of these ganks that they're trying to set up in the mid lane, because again, it's a low pressure jungler in the form of Nuna. You need the hard CC from Thresh.
Unfortunately, that does leave Nami a little bit out to dry. dry here as Endless and Mata in particular. This Kog'Maw on his own might actually just get Dofu. Mata, thankfully for Name, not level 6 yet.
Well, Name's doing a good job. He's using the tower to dodge the dredge lane because obviously the dredge lane won't go through the tower like Thresh Death Sentence. It'll just connect to it. So that's why you see him hugging that tower.
Smart stuff there, but he's got to clear out some wards quickly. Creep there will grab the next one, and Endless trying to get some poke down there as well. A phage being completed, but Name, his tower on the bottom side's low as Zero finally returns to meet him.
Got his upgraded rushed Moby, so applying pressure in the mid lane and quickly trying to get to the bot lane to help little Name.
I mean, Name does need a bit of help here, but if you can find some farm, what he's doing right now, he'll be okay. But Endless, about 20 up in the matchup so far, so Kog'Maw still needing to scale, but the rest of the team might be enough to try and carry them through what might be a rough mid-game here, especially if Mata's going to invade that blue buff.
He's got backup.
Hook comes in, actually lands onto the blue itself though, but Zero, they're going to get caught out by World 6, gets the Arctic Assault off, Endless going to get the kill, and it's too much here for King. They don't even need Dandy actually. Insec somewhere in the area is actually teleported down. But Vici going to maybe try for this dragon, and Dandy can join whenever he wants. He's Meganar now. Yeah, going in onto Huey. Damage comes through. Korn's going to find someone, gets the ulti coming in. Insect going to try and line it up. Good snare there from Mata, but Insect finds the ulti. Name doing decent damage, but Dandy comes in, takes out Huey and gnaws him away. Name's forced to retreat as Huey goes down to Dandy. Insect and Korn. Actually a double there for the Fizz. Mata going to get low as well. Triple kill there coming through. Dandy might be the next target, and Korn gets a quadra kill.
Wow, okay, so let's talk about this. At first I was about to say there's zero reason for King to attempt to fight this just because Lucian has his BF sword complete and you had the Glacial Prism right there, but the Glacial Prism came out so early in that team fight and just a fantastic elongated positioning from Insect, Zero, and Name. Oh, excuse me, not Zero, Korn.
Yeah, and I mean, Dandy used so many of his resources trying to kill the jungler and the AD carry that Fizz was the one with surprisingly persistent damage running around, getting his team, getting himself a bunch of kills, 4 to be exact, now sitting at 402. 1,700 gold or so to spend, already 1,000 gold ahead of Hatong right now. And most importantly, King, they get themselves a first dragon.
It's really just understanding where you can cut it off, but we will have the replay. So there's the Glacial Prism.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's just too early, and look what Korn's doing here.
Just the CDR, the fact that he went the Fiendish Codex, that he was able to just get into the back line so easily. We talked about how sticky Fizz is. Yeah,
and Endless is having problems here. I mean, despite the fact that they have a Nautilus and a Meganar here, you actually can't peel this fish off anyone.
That should have gone so differently for King. Just Vici decided to overcommit. They should have taken the initial pick and just backed off. And unfortunately, when Dandy got there, it was almost kind of like fake Calvary gave them some hope when it really wasn't there for them.
Yeah, very aggressive teleport for Dandy, but doesn't quite give him as much as he maybe would like here. And he's actually going for a laning build here. Frozen Mallet appears to be his first item, so not quite all in on the aggression with the Black Cleaver, but certainly taking the more aggressive option into the Hecarim.
And I know Papa has some interesting ideas about, you know, itemizing for the team fight and picking up your resistances versus for your lane and picking up the Frozen Mallet. I'm a huge fan of the Frozen Mallet just because I feel it gives Gnar so much power to walk down the Hecarim.
Ulti though coming in. Name gets the lantern out though. Dandy Meganar once again. Zero trying to block things off, but Boulder will come in for some damage, but not quite enough to get the kill. And the junglers with some good presence. Huey actually coming in, but that's basically just defensive. Hook lands onto Dandy. Snowball there as well. Not quite enough damage, unfortunately. World 6 going to get aggressed on as snowballs fly thick and fast. They're diving onto this turret. That's why, because Insect's back down here. Korn's coming through as well. Name gets one kill. Insect gets the other. Lantern out and King. Wonderful movement.
I also love how it was brilliant to transition the top lane, or excuse me, the bottom lane up into the top, knowing that Dragon was down, so moving their numbers advantage to an objective that they could easily collapse on.
And honestly, get people out of the matchups that they don't want to be in.
Nautilus and Lucian, get them away from them.
Exactly. Give Name the 2v1 against the Gnar, and let Insect just try and scrounge farm. He has Smite. Just go into the jungle and take things away, and you can see already King 2,000 gold up in this game. And that's mostly, honestly, on Korn.
And that's typically what we don't get to say.
No. I mean, the movement's been great. Again, when King were ahead in that series against QG in game number 1, their planned shot calling looked magnificent in that game. They steamrolled QG in that first game, but when behind, King look a little different. So short history should indicate this is a good position for King, and Korn really is poised to perform on this Fizz, which is great for him because he's a legacy Fizz player. If we get to this position in the second game, though, and King aren't ahead, I wonder how much differently the team plays and how much harder it is for them to actually get wins.
What's really curious for me is obviously you would think that, okay, it's the addition of Insec and Zero, so yeah, you are replacing Sync Jim as well as Cola, but what is happening in the shot calling? Because King looked much more cohesive as a unit. Now, Name is technically the shot caller for King. He's never been a shot caller. He wasn't the shot caller for EDG. As I say that, there's a dive.
Mata coming through there. Dive moves in. The fish down onto Mata. Endless already dead here by the looks of things as Insec diving with impunity. Huey eats an ulti that fizzles there as Korn gets himself another kill. And it's just Dive City here for King. They're taking kills and they're getting towers.
Exact same play into the top side now on the bottom side. But again, it's the shot calling. They're so cohesive. They're working as a unit and as five, and it just looks fantastic. But what is it? Insec does do secondary shot calling, but to my understanding, it's, you know, go, 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 go.
Yeah, I mean, if that's all it is, he's doing a really good job of navigating the ping system or something, because whatever has changed here for King looks brilliant so far in their games. I mean, Vici going to try and take out the mid tower, but people are coming for them. Vici seems like, wow, they won't even get away with that.
Speaking of pings, look at the light show that's going on right now.
Mata here actually looking for a hook, finds a wall instead there as he's going to force Huey, Name, and Zero away. But Vici, the team that, again, has that one style, big rotation heavy, very objective focused, very classically Korean, and they're getting out-rotated by King of all teams.
Well, this was the other big thing. Dandy moving into the top lane away from the jungle. Now, the thing about Mata and Dandy is we talked to them about a pair because obviously they were the Samsung white jungle and support. They're so vision-focused. Dandy himself was a very intellectual jungler about kind of figuring out where the enemy was and playing around that, and that kind of really transitioned into Vici's style. It was figure out where the enemy is and then just rotate around them, take objectives for free as opposed to making picks. With the addition of World 6, it's been much more poke focus, but more importantly, separating Mata and Dandy. We did see them, like you said, kind of cobbled together in this like pseudo Gnar Nautilus bot lane, but they're so intertwined. Mata's warding stat is directly linked to Dandy's warding stat. And when Mata wards less, Dandy wards more. And so by separating them, by moving them to opposite ends of the map, I was curious how this was going to impact Vici's identity as a team. And they kind of look to be falling apart right now.
I mean, I think they're still finding it because, again, it's a pretty big upheaval of their roster as Name's actually got a Trinity Force already. We don't often talk about Kog'Maw as far as power spikes go because he doesn't see that much play, but surprisingly strong one-item power spike for a late-game carry.
And it's going to be curious where he's going to look from here. Typically, you would go more into attack speed, but Name has always been very creative in his build. He could go for a flat AD.
I mean, he could do lots of different things. I mean, right now he's fairly strong. He's actually freezing the bottom wave by the looks of things, but I think the one big takeaway is that Korn is insanely strong. Insec also fairly strong at 207 and 502 for the top and mid laner respectively. Name will add decent damage to any fight. So this late game comp that has some element to protect this Kog'Maw can fight right now and really punish Vici.
Something really to point out for Vici though is they're ahead in CS in every single position.
I mean, that just speaks to, again, the young players with these mechanics, or the old players that are looking strong there as well. I mean, the lanes went well for them, let's be honest. Even the lane swaps, they went well as well, but it doesn't matter when this is happening to you. 2-11 behind, second dragon being started for King. I mean, Vici can't even walk near Fizz, let alone the rest of the team.
And yeah, the lanes went well for Vici because they were able to sit there and kind of farm it out, but the rotations went so much more superior for King, rotating around, making consistent dives, and getting these dragons.
And Zero's playmaking, those early mobility boots have paid off really nicely for this Thresh. And I like that you highlighted the build before because you can see Zero has been so proactive, even looks for the push there just in case someone was hiding out, but instead King doing a little bit, trying to get some turrets down because they sort of realized that with blue buff Cassiopeia, it can't really take the mid tower. That's the only one they can't easily get.
And this was the style that Mata made famous, the mobility rush on the support and kind of roaming around, picking up your vision and moving it and covering flanks as you just kind of skirmish around the map.
And I mean, the fact that Zero's emulating it this well against Mata himself is a testament to
salt in the
how
wound.
good. Yeah, a little bit, but a testament to how great both of these players are. As Name going to keep getting some fun for himself. Zero, though, always ready for backup just in case he needs a lantern to safety. Insec starting to farm out. Everyone just sort of back into neutral, just getting their farm back in. King still have a decent lead, but haven't grown it in a little while. And I think it's the mid lane turret that they want to try and knock down.
Yes, I was just about to say, okay, time to reset, figure out what our King's priority is. It is going to be that mid-tier tower. Obviously, it's going to grant them the most passive vision and map control if they manage to take it down. And it's the last standing outer tower, which is why we see Name rotating into it.
Insec has his teleport as well, and they time that with their tongs back. So a very good rotation there for King. Just do get it. Minions there helping him out, able to make sure they fell the outer ring of turrets, and all of a sudden King Decent gold lead again, 4,000 up, but most importantly, plenty of room opened up on this map now.
Okay, so now the question is, that was the obvious answer. Where do King go now? So Dragon is down, so they can now play to the top side of the map.
I think they just want to look for...
Ooh,
that
could have interrupted it.
That would have been really cool, but Mata, sorry, not quite getting there. As Zero able to lantern Name to safety. Kog'Maw does have to be a little bit careful, especially with the Sejuani or face checking him potentially, but Blood Boil's on, his Trinity Force is ready. Insects buying farm in the top lane, and Korn, just finishes on his Hourglass. If Vici want to fight King, I'm more than happy to fight them.
I feel like they actually should have thought right there. Name was over the side on a ward, and they didn't have vision on Insect because he wasn't yet quite into the top lane, but if World 6 had decided to just pull the trigger and Glacial ult, he would have gotten the 2 carries.
And this is something that, I mean, your question was, what did King do next? Again, whoever is making that shot call is doing a great job, because this is a brilliant rotation. Move Fizz into the bottom side, let him duel people or push in the wave, and then just bring your AD carry to wherever tower opens up itself.
You're a very big fan of this. I know we've had multiple conversations about moving your mid laner into the bottom side, especially when Dragon's down, so you can apply pressure to the mid lane and the top lane as far as your ADC, because right now in the meta, the ADCs effectively are there just to kill the towers, and with the rise up of Cassiopeia, of Fizz, of Azir, it's more about getting those 3-item power spikes onto your mid laners who are going to hyperscale into late game.
Yeah, it's just the best teams in the LPL right now do exactly what King are doing, and that's impressive, again, given that this particular iteration of the team hasn't been together very long. I actually like the Merc treads there for Kog'Maw as well, sort of respecting the ultis that are coming in. That was a ridiculous playable Trickster, but gets ulted by 2 different people. Korn might not have enough to get out. Flash is out there as well, but it's Fizz. Never mind, he's fine.
Perfectly fine, has the morale is complete, so again he has the Fiendish Codex CDR. So much power expended on trying to lock him down. That's a huge ultimate in the Glacial Prism down, and King, if they want to fight, now's the time.
I mean, they're buying time for Insect, who's only getting stronger. I see enough for a Phage there in his current component, so I wonder where he's going, if he's going to rush Trinity Force, or maybe goes tanky, goes for the Phage, maybe actually a Trinity Force. That's half of a Sheen, potentially, but also half a Glacial Shroud, so no one really knows.
And it looks like Name is actually, speaking of itemization, he picked up the Vampiric Scepter, so I suspected that he would go for a Bork simply because he's looking across from a Gnar and a Sejuani, and you definitely need that Shred to deal with the big tanky resistances that are coming out of them.
And for me, Kog'Maw is a champion that, if you can make work, really suits this metagame right now, because kind of like Vayne, you have good tank shredding abilities, especially with your Blade of the Ruin King. But unlike Vayne, you can actually do it from a safe distance. It's just a matter of, can you support your Kog'Maw long enough to get to that point? I don't know if we have the answer this game, but looking good so far for Name.
Likewise, Kog'Maw is always... Excuse me. Likewise, Kog'Maw is always also going to have siege potential, whereas Vayne, yeah, she can push down a tower relatively quickly because she's going to itemize into attack speed, but her range is just so short that it's very, very dangerous. Whereas Kog'Maw with his W can act more like Caitlyn. Yeah,
I mean, Nunu's obviously here to help as well, so a bit more of that Jinx flavor coming through just makes a bit more sense with this type of team comp. And King just trying to run Vici in circles around this map. Insect buying a lot of pressure down to the bottom. Everyone from Vici's down here by the looks of things, and Insect runs away, but his team just rotating through, trying to apply pressure, and Vici are busy moving through the jungle trying to clear out wards.
Little bit of a misplay from King right here. They lost some of their pressure and the momentum that they had going for them. We talked about how they were applying pressure in all 3 waves, trying to catch Vici on a rotation or just kind of chip away at these towers, but they sacrificed a lot to lay down some vision and to try to set up a pick. Although they will get the blue buff.
Oh, Colin almost again getting hooked up. Huey actually maybe caught out of position. Blue buff will go to Name, but Huey fairly tanky on the Nunu, has to run himself away. So no pick there for Vici. Dragon back up in 45 seconds, and Cassio without a blue buff. It is awfully hard for Hetong to get work done now.
Now the next big stage that's going to be coming up is going to be that Dragon in 37 seconds. We do have some sizable item power spikes coming out pretty much across the board. So it's just going to be really curious if World 6 is going to be able to make this Sejuani pick work for him, hit a nice Glacial Prism, because this could be a very big turning point for Vici Gaming. They're not out of the game just yet. They do have the answers late game, like this Kog'Maw. They have Hetong on that Cassiopeia.
Oh yeah, they can do plenty of work here in this game, but King, if they get the 3rd Dragon especially, it feels like maybe the momentum is just a little too much. And you can see Mata scouting around the Dragon Arrow, trying to get vision down. Insect's actually caught him out. Name's here as well. Depth Charge lands in, but Mata's already dead by the looks of things. Huey takes him out. Tanks get ulted there by Cassiopeia, and Insect moving through. Dandy getting peeled off as Korn fishes that Mega Nara, now Endless might get dove on as well. He gets exhausted, but pops his on his Name, free hitting in the backlines. Endless taking so much damage, and Korn, he is unrelenting in his pressure, takes out Endless. Hatong's forced to flash away. Wonderful team fight for King.
And unfortunately, Montes just cut out warding right there, immediately deleted from the map. Did manage to hit a depth charge on both Name and Zero in the backline, but to what avail? Name did burn his flash, so that's a very important summoner down for the next team fight, should Vici make use on that. But a great target selection, a great zoning potential from King.
Again, look like a different team. We said this when they played against QG in game number 1. Might be saying it again here as Name flash Arctic Assault from World 6. Gonna make things a little tricky. Zero is very far away from his AD carry friend, and Name with no flash like you mentioned, gonna try and turn it around, but Hatong gonna claim the kill.
So what Name was trying to do when he decided to walk into melee range, like obviously he knows that he's dead, but he's trying to gap close to make the most out of his Acathian surprise. So if he is constantly orb walking back and staying at max distance, he's going to have to run that much farther for it. So trying to turn that around at a last second to murder Hatong and trade 1-for-1 doesn't get it, because Hatong did a great job positioning himself, but just kind of the cute little Name things.
Yeah, again, Carry certainly known for his positioning. About a year ago, seems to be back in form, or at least playing himself back into form in his last few games. Bilgewater Cutler's done now as well. Ryuko Bow's been finished up, so Blade of the Ruin King is almost online, and Trinity Force almost there for Insect. These power spikes are coming thick and fast for King. Even Korn, of note, has Ionian Boots of Lucidity now completed, so that 40% CDI he's been looking for, bam, he's got it.
Now let's talk about Baron, in particular to Vici Gaming. Now Vici are behind, but obviously if they got the Baron, especially with Cassiopeia Shred, they could very easily walk back into this game. Baron is so important for Vici Gaming. They actually have the highest, when you look at their percentages of objective taken as far as their win rate, when they get a Baron, they have their highest chance of win rate over anything else. That was cute.
That was hilarious. If you missed it, Huey stole the Scuttle Crab with a snowball. That was not a smite. That was not a consume.
Is it the slowest moving projectile?
It's one of the slowest moving projectiles.
I think it's either Morgana Q, Anivia Q, or his snowball.
It's definitely up there, which is fitting for a move called Ice Blast, which slows you. But yeah, good steal there for King. We'll give them a bit more pressure around that Baron that you were just mentioning. Because as you said, it's important for both.
I mean, it's massively important for Vici. They've shown, because again, they're a rotational-based team, so obviously when they're able to use Baron, they're so good at sieging and manipulating with it. And it's just, like if you look when Vici get a first tower, it's 37% chance of winning. But when they get the Baron, it spikes up to 70% chance.
Wow. I mean, that's great news. But Vici, unfortunately, might be losing a Baron in fairly short order. King, very sneaky, trying to find a catch here. Mata might get caught warding once again. Korn? Fishing there.
He got the ward. It's cool.
Fortunately, that's not how that works. As Huey is going to get grabbed that Mata, they're going to get shredded down by Name. Depth charge lands in. Korn going to dive in to complete the kill. Zero's going to zone out World 6. Korn gets so low, but just survives. And Insect's here in time. Korn gets himself out of it. Endless is getting caught up by Insect. Hatong will fall down. Insect will die fairly soon as well, but Dandy's going to go. That's the front line dead. Korn dives into the back line, trying to take out the carry. Zero flays them back, and Name plays clean up.
Name completely full health, untouched in the back of the fight. Now, not only did Korn make a fantastic escape, but the difference between this King and last King and why we're seeing an immediate upgrade in their performance is because Name has a front line. You had the tools there. You had the world-class AD carry, but unfortunately, if he doesn't have tanks in front of him, if he doesn't have that peel, he's not able to do anything. Name looks like a completely different animal with the strength of Huey and Insect standing in front of him and Zero behind him.
And the nice thing is, it's not like it's all on Name to do all the work. It's unfair to say that 2014 EDG was a Name's team. Kind of, if you look at it on the other side, like 2013 Royal Club, that was absolutely Uzi's team.
Oh, yes.
But Name was just the centerpiece of that team. He wasn't the whole team. I think this team, he even has significantly less impact as far as how many resources are filtered into him, and he's still a great AD carry if you set up for him. Like, if there was ever a team where Name was at his happiest, maybe back in the day on some of his old teams like Positive Energy, this might be his best fit.
I don't think anyone was ever happy on Positive Energy.
Name was he?
Except for Aluka.
LPL title winner, Aluka. Hey man, Aluka's great.
He's always happy.
He is.
I love it.
Very happy man. Sorry, not Aluka. Name finished off his Blade of the Ruin King. Huey very tanky as well. Aegis and Frozen Heart completed to join that Sightstone, and Insect even starting to get tanky with that Spectre's Callan. Did go Trinity Force first because Insect thinks
I was going to say, of course, it's Insect.
So strong at this stage. 8,500 gold ahead. Consistently threatening this Baron, and Dragon's back up in a minute 50 as well. Vici Gaming, good luck. They're going to need it in this game. They are on struggle street right now. You can see King continue to clear out vision, threaten with the picks. They've got good tools for a variety of different scenarios. And little old Name on the Kog'Maw is just happily wave clearing.
Playing different pressure points, they just need to be very conscious that Vici have full vision of Insec, so they could look for a hard engage.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, Insect does not have his teleport, but you can see all of the pink ward vision that they've given themselves, and they've got plenty of vision down towards, cascading down from the Baron buff means that King feel very safe in this situation. Insect can run back fairly quickly to his teammates as well, and if anything goes wrong, they can actually just look him for a flank as the scrying up's thrown out. King know that the Baron, Vici know that King aren't starting the Baron, but King are going to be very patient here. Vici are not, apparently. Tower goes down. Mata gets fished by Korn. Tries to flash and misses the wall by the looks of things. Mata's already dead. Nami has to be careful as Dandy's going back in. Korn uses his Zhonya's. Dandy is already dead. Insect down here to kill her Tong, as that kill's going to go to Kog'Maw for the double. And King get another 3 kills once again, and they're going to go straight to Baron.
Beautiful zone control from Huey right there. Immediately the Absolute Zero came down and pretty much perfectly put Nami in the back again, untouched. Nami did have a little bit of a preemptive flash. I think he expected Dandy to go into Meganar, and he was standing right against the wall, so a little bit of a wasted summoner right there, but a good pick means a free Baron for King.
Baron always good and a nice fight for King. We'll give it to them. Nami and Zero having some fun. Zero going over to the mending wave, because why not? They're going to start pushing immediately. Dragon's up as well. You can see the pings down onto it. King maybe going to think better of this push and go back first.
I'm actually really surprised that Vici decided to pull the trigger like that. Mod had just rushing forward. They had kind of used their last chance on the scrying orb to make sure that the Baron wasn't going down. They had to step forward to put vision, but King, so patient. They have a lot of veterans on their roster, so it's nice to see that kind of reflect in their shot calling.
Let's see this again. Watch Korn as well. He had really clever positioning in this fight.
And they were just so patient. They saw Mata there for the longest time, and I feel like Mata's like, just go. But there's what I'm talking about. The Absolute Zero was perfectly placed from Huey, completely splits the fight, makes sure that Name's untouched again. This is the 3rd fight in the row where this guy is full health.
And that's good news for Nami, as Dragon number 4 will go to King here. Nami will go back to spend some gold. King still have their Baron buff as Korn returns back to the bottom lane to start pushing it out. And just a quick look over the gold there, and you can just see King are so far ahead. 10,000 gold up team-wide, and plenty of leads in their lanes.
But now it's about, can they break the inhibitor line with this Baron, or how much are they going to be able to climb ahead with this?
I mean, you got a perfectly good turret taker here in Kog'Maw. He's got his last Whisper finished and even a spare dagger just for a bit of extra power there as well. Korn is building in towards his Void Staff, actually goes Death Cap instead and finishes it with his last little shop here. Insect has Spirit Visage, who's only getting tankier. Vici again scrounging for farm. They're going to have to weather quite the storm here for King, and even if they don't get it, Dragon number 5 is still on the way as well.
And King again rotating down towards the bottom side of the map, simply because it is the last outer tower standing, which means that they can successfully get behind it should they want to look for a dive. Insect does have his teleport available, and if Vici actually die on this tower, there's a massive wave as well as Baron buff. It could mean the game.
Good grab actually in World 6. That's one W there from that Kog'Maw with the Trinity Force on, and that damage is pretty dumb.
And we saw the Insect actually back there as soon as Dandy met him in the top lane. Again, looking for the teleport home guard flank. Decides that once they take the tower and they're now on the inhibitor line, that he's just going to create multiple pressure points and runs to that mid lane.
And Insect, his split pushing has been brilliant all game long. He's just constantly been in the right place, and again, causing Vici to run around the map, and as soon as he's able to teleport in, that was amazing. I don't know if you saw that. But they used a lantern and a Kog'Maw W to get one auto on the turret. Because you know what? It'll work if they get enough of them out.
Didn't work for Heart and Scatch last game.
No. Again, I mean, this is the difference here with a champion like Kog'Maw. Lantern goes down, autos come through, takes the lantern away. Vici can't wait all day. King will eventually get this turret.
Likewise with Insect just bearing down into the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, again, his pressure's been great here, and King might just go all in for the turret. Not quite yet. Good wave here from Vici. He's making it a bit annoying as World 6 gets grabbed out of an Arctic Assault, fished up as well. The front line is dead now for Vici. Dandy not even close to Meganar, and King going to keep applying pressure. It's a 4v4, by the way. Insect still on the top side. Huey going to turn it around. He's fairly tanky, but tanking quite a bit of damage as the culling comes through, and Insect just doing his own thing here, being Insect, going to take out a turret for himself.
And I love what Huey's doing. Now everyone's talking about Name's perfect positioning, Insect's pressure, Zero making the hooks, although Dandy going in.
Going in a little too deep. Flashes get burnt though. Insect's going to pull his way in. Huey still alive though. Dandy with a massive ulti, but he's far too low. Korn's going to dive back in. Hatong's going to die. Good Zhonya's there from the Fizz as well. Mata gets shredded. He should go down. Endless gets flayed by Zero, and they'll chase down onto him. Name gets a double, maybe make it a triple. Will indeed, as King get almost just an ace. World 6 comes back in just in time to see his base fall into ruins.
Dandy was looking to pull the trigger right there to get the knock into the wall and CC chain. Unfortunately, there was a brilliant play from Zero just to delay him trying to do his alley-oop into the team fight, and that gave King enough time to reposition themselves and just quickly clean up through everyone with their gold advantage.
And again, Insec, all that free time in the top side means he got the top inhibitor there as well, so we pop back up. 14,000 gold ahead for King. Massive items across the board here. 2 inhibitors down with only the mid one left standing. And no major buffs yet, but you know what? I don't think King are going to need them.
I'm going to talk about Huey. 4, 1, and 22. Correct my math. That's 100% kill participation.
No, your math is correct. That is, in fact, 100% kill participation. And we said, no, more of a Lee Sin player normally looked great on Rek'Sai Gragas. Let's just see this again, though.
Okay, so unfortunately, oh wait, Dandy's gonna go in. Nope. Okay, we missed it. I was gonna say it would started before the fillet came through, but effectively Dandy's trigger pulling into the team fight got delayed by a very nice play by Zero. He's just disgusting with these thrust mechanics, and this is just King's gold lead speaking for itself as they rip through Vici.
And Korn as well. The way he's played these fights, just weaving in and out, basically just adding additional damage to whatever target he needs to based on the texture of the team fight. His Fizz is great, and it's finally good to see it back, as this has been a strong Fizz game from him.
He's been kind of fumbling on his most recent Fizz games, but yeah, it was a signature champion for him, and for the longest time, it had to be banned against him. So it's excellent as the rise of Fizz comes through to see Korn kind of find his confidence again.
Smart drafting here for King. I love that they took away the Heck Room
Fizz
and the
Heck Room.
Yeah, cool stuff there coming in. And Vici again, a team certainly that's a bit in tatters, Carry being sick. I mean, Danny's been fine here, but Vici, it's just not the same team. And King, they're going to close the trap. The hook goes wide. Now he's going to take the turret out. King have broken the base almost completely now. Vici do not have very many structures left to defend.
And we talk about how bizarre it is to see Dandy and Insec and Huey
channeling his ultimate. Zero going to dive in. Dandy gets denied there by the flame. Name's going to take his peel
all day
and just take out Dandy. Insec going to dive into the backline. Tatong's getting aggressed on.
Oh!
Kon gets ultied there, and Heck Room's going to go down. World 6 will live for now. Huey forced a flash out there as well. But it's a 1-for-1 trade, and King still have the healthier members.
There's a better example of what I was talking about all day. Zero has just been denying that alley-oop. It's like someone goes to dunk and Zero just smacks him down.
Zero looking good here. Name shredding through some structures. King, we're going to close out this game. Vici's Nexus very much exposed. Korn dives in to get himself a double to close out this game. And King, what a way to take game number 1 against Vici.
What a way to introduce their starting roster. Again, the point that I was talking about before they decided to engage that team fight. Dandy versus Insec in the top lane. I mean, we were talking about 2 of the best junglers in the world, but let's not forget that Insec was a top laner at some point in his career when Kakao was on his team.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, unfortunately, not also a top laner, but a mechanically talented player nonetheless. And again, King, another game 1 against a fairly